For many international students, using a second language involves more than communication. It often means having to act, respond, and make decisions without fully understanding the situation. In everyday contexts, this uncertainty may remain manageable. But in unfamiliar environments, it becomes more intense, especially when people are required to take responsibility in real time. Language, in this context, is not a neutral tool, but a condition in which understanding is always partial. This project explores how this condition develops into anxiety, not as a single moment, but as something that builds up across interactions. This project begins from my own experience of language anxiety as an international student, including situations where I had to seek medical help. It focuses on moments where understanding is uncertain, yet action is still required. The work is designed for two audiences. For international students, it reflects a familiar experience, creating a sense of recognition and reassurance. For native speakers, it introduces a condition where language becomes unreliable, allowing them to experience uncertainty from a different perspective. To explore this, the project takes the form of a 2D interactive game, structured around an emergency hospital visit. This work is informed by research on language anxiety, particularly in relation to international students, where anxiety is often linked to uncertainty in interaction and decision-making. It also draws on works such as Papers, Please and Pulse Room, which use systems and rules to shape behavior and experience. The project uses a hospital setting as a context where this condition becomes more intense, as individuals must respond and make decisions under pressure, often without full understanding. The project takes the form of a 2D interactive game structured as a sequence of stages. It begins with a check-in process, where the player is required to complete a form under conditions of partial understanding. The player then moves to the nurse station, where their previous responses are recorded and translated into a different layer of interaction. Finally, the player enters a consultation with the doctor, where they must identify symptoms and respond to prompts in order to receive a medical outcome. Throughout this process, the player is continuously required to act, even when understanding is incomplete. Rather than presenting a single moment of confusion, the work creates a sustained condition in which uncertainty persists across the entire experience. This progression is shaped through a set of interconnected mechanisms. First, language is deliberately destabilized. Key words may be incomplete, distorted, or partially obscured, requiring the player to rely on approximation rather than certainty. Second, time introduces pressure. Players are required to respond within limited time, making uncertainty more difficult to manage. Third, the system operates as a chain of influence. The number of errors made during the check-in stage affects which language system is used during the nurse interaction. In turn, the accuracy of responses at the nurse stage influences the clarity of prompts during the doctor consultation. Through these mechanisms, uncertainty is carried across stages, shaping how the player responds. In this way, anxiety is not represented directly, but produced through the system itself. However, the work is not designed to punish the player for misunderstanding. The earlier stages may affect how clear the final medical prompts are, but they do not completely remove the player's ability to continue. In the final consultation, the player is asked to return to their own body, locating where the discomfort is based on earlier symptoms. This is important because the project is not only about failure in language, but also about how anxiety can make people lose trust in what they already know. The work suggests that even when language feels unstable, the situation may be more manageable than anxiety makes it seem. By letting earlier uncertainty reshape later prompts while still requiring a final decision, the system makes players act through uncertainty. At the same time, the system inevitably simplifies this experience, as real-world situations are often more complex. Ultimately, the project tries to make language anxiety visible while offering a more reflective way of understanding it.